What's up, rockers? Dr. Feelgood here with you this week to teach you about the quadratic formula. Yeah, quadratic formula, rockers. Now, you guys have learned how to solve quadratic equations by completing a square, using square roots, factoring, graphing. Today you're going to learn how to solve them using the quadratic formula. Check it out. This is the quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, and negative b minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I'll explain what that means in a minute. Notice though we just put it all together in one big equation with a plus and a minus here. What this means is negative b plus all that stuff is one of the answers, and the other one is negative b minus all that stuff. If you're going to use the quadratic formula, there's a couple steps here. Number one, put it in standard form. Standard form looks like this. Remember, you got x squared first, x next, the constant equals 0. That's standard form. Step two, find a, b, and c. Step three, plug those into the quadratic equation. And then you simplify everything and you'll get your two answers, okay? That's all there is to it. I would recommend you try to memorize this equation, okay? There's a few different ways to do it. Some rockers will sing it to the tune of Pop Goes the Weasel. That ain't for me though, y'all. There's a cool, like, Ukrainian dude. Mr. Young will link a video to his song on your Google Classroom. That's a good way. Or just try and memorize it, okay? If you can't, no big deal. But this is one of the most famous formulas in all of math. Let's try a couple, huh? Alright, here we go. Number one. 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 equals 0. Here we go. Step one, standard form. Let's see, x squared, x numbers equals 0. Good to go there. Step two, find a, b, and c. A is the number in front of the x squared, so it's 2. B is the number in front of the x, it's negative 5. Notice it's negative 5. And then c is the constant, the number by itself. There we go. Now we're going to plug those into the equation. This is where you rock and rollers are going to mess up, is you're going to plug these in incorrectly, or you're going to simplify it incorrectly. So if you go step by step by step, it's harder to mess up, alright? So, negative b. b is negative 5. So negative 5 plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all that over 2 times a. Okay, couple notes here. Notice I put b in parentheses. I put everything in parentheses actually, but especially b, because then the negative 5 won't confuse you, and then when you do negative 5 squared, you won't get confused, okay? Now I'm going to start simplifying this as much as I can. Let's see, negative 5 is the same thing as positive 5. Negative 5 squared is negative 5 times negative 5, which is positive 25. Remember, when you square a number, it's always going to be positive. And then we got, let's see, negative 4 times 2 is 8. So negative 8 times 3 is negative 24. And then on the bottom, 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, let's see. 25 minus 24 is 1. And what is the square root of 1? It's 1, right? Okay, this, when you get to here, is when I recommend splitting it into two equations. Remember, what this means is 5 plus 1 over 4 is going to be one of our answers. And the other one is going to be 5 minus 1 over 4. Okay, 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 over 4 is 1.5, or if you like decimals, it'd be 3 halves. And then, let's see, 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. That means our two answers are x equals 1 and x equals 1.5. Rock on. Now there's one more step we should add here. We should check these to make sure they're right, okay? It's very easy to make a mistake with all this arithmetic, okay? The other thing I'd caution you rockers, if you try to type this in the calculator, you can do it, but it's really easy to make a mistake, rockers. So I would recommend, if you're going to use a calculator, at least simplify it down to maybe here before you use the calculator. You're also going to have to type it in twice. You're going to have to do it once with a plus and once with a minus. So the more you can simplify it without the calculator, the better you're going to be. Alright, let's check this. I need to put 1 in for x, and it should make this equation true. So 2 times 1 squared minus 5 times 1 plus 3 should equal 0. Let's see. 1 squared is 2. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 1 is 2. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. Does 2 minus 2 equal 0? Yeah! Rock on! We got that one right. Let's check 1.5. See, I'm out of room. Where's that eraser? There it is. Let's try 2 times 1.5 squared minus 5 times 1.5 plus 3. See, 1.5 squared is 2.25. You could use a calculator for that if you had to. This rocker knows. See, 5 times 1.5 is 7.5. See, 2 times 2.5, that's 4.5. Negative 7.5 plus 3 is negative 4.5. 4.5 minus 4.5 does equal 0. We got it, rockers! Nice work. Let's try a couple more, huh? So you're getting the hang of it, okay? This takes a long time to use the quadratic formula, right? So there's some good things about the quadratic formula. The best thing is that it works every single time for every quadratic equation. You can't always factor. You can't always use square roots. Sometimes graphing's hard, but you can always use the quadratic formula. So that's the big benefit. If you only learn one way, this is the way to do it because it always works. Let's try this one. Make sure it's in standard form. Let's see, x squared x numbers equals 0. Good to go there. Find a, b, and c. A is 4. B is negative 4. C is 1. Now we're going to plug them into the equation. So it's negative b plus and minus square root b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Another common mistake you'll see is we'll start to simplify this, and this the bottom part, you'll end up putting it just under the square root. So you got to remember it's this whole thing goes on the top. Alright, let's see if we can clean this up a little bit. Let's see, negative 4 is positive 4. Negative 4 squared, negative 4 times negative 4, well that's 16. Negative 4 times positive 4 is negative 16. Times 1 is negative 16. All over 2 times 4 is 8. Let's see, 16 minus 16, that's 0. And what's the square root of 0? Well, it's just 0, right? Since we got a 0 here, we're only going to get one answer for this one. So 4 plus 0 is 4 over 8, and that simplifies to 1/2. Okay, if you did 4 minus 0, you'd still get 4. So there's only one answer for this one, okay? Remember, that's the one time you get one answer is if you do the square root of 0. That works for these, for complete the square, for square roots. Alright, we better check it. So let's see, 4 times 1/2 squared minus 4 times 1/2 plus 1 should equal 0. Let's see. 1/2 squared is 1/4. Half of -4 is -2. 4 times 1/4 is 1 minus 1. Rock on, we got it. Good work, y'all. Let's do one more example here. Alright, last one. Here we go. 3x squared plus 12x equals 36. Here we go, rockers. Let's see. Step 1, get it in standard form. X squared, x... Uh-oh. We got to get the c over on the other side and the 0 here. So I'm going to do minus 36. So we got 0 on this side. 3x squared. Remember, these are not like terms. We can't combine those. So I'm just going to write it as 12x minus 36. Now we're in standard form. Now we got to find a, b, and c. A is going to be 3. B is 12. C, negative 36. Now we're going to fill in the quadratic formula. Negative b plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. See if we can clean this up a little bit. Let's see. Negative 12. 12 squared is 144. See, negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Negative 12 times negative 36 is 476. So plus, no, that ain't right. Hang on, hang on. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to use my calculator on this one. Too much rocking and rolling in my younger days. Let's see. Negative 4 times 3 times negative 36 is 432. I wasn't too far off. And then 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, let's see. 144 plus 432 is 576. You guys know the square root of 576? No? I do. I do. 24. So one of our solutions is going to be negative 12 plus 24 over 6. The other one's going to be negative 12 minus 24 over 6. Let's see, negative 12 plus 24 is 12. 12 divided by 6 is 2. There's one of our answers. Negative 12 minus 24 is negative 36. Divided by 6 is negative 6. Right there. Let's see if we got it right. 3 times 2 squared plus 12 times 2 should equal 36. 2 squared is 4. 12 times 2 is 24. See, 3 times 4, 12 plus 24. Does that equal 36? Yeah! Got that one. Let's check negative 6. Here we go. 3 negative 6 squared plus 12 times negative 6 should equal 36. See, negative 6 squared is 36. That's minus 72. 3 times 36 is 108. Does 108 minus 72 equal 36? Yes, it does. Rock on. That's all there is to it, rockers. Okay? Make sure it's in standard form. Find A, B, and C. Plug them into this big old gross equation. And then simplify it as much as you can. If you try and do it on the calculator, you're going to confuse yourself. I promise, okay? And then check your answers. That's the only way to make sure you got it. Okay? You got some practice problems on the Google Classroom. When you're done with those, take a picture, email them to Mr. Young, and he'll tell you whether you got it or not. That's it for me. Rock on. Stay cool. We'll catch you next time.